Bonsoir racers, hope we're all well. So last Sunday saw round one of the Neo RC Super Sunday series hosted by Ignition Raceway. Right, that's the adverts out of the way. It was a full day event with a practice run, 4 sets of qualifying and 2 finals, but the joker is with the second final is the reverse grid of how you finished in your first final. We'll get into more of that as I start explaining more. Anyway, couple of bits. I had a very busy day because I was running 2 categories. I was running my Mardave Mini, which I'd say performed flawlessly. Not wrong with the car, told the driver, apart from a couple of little technical issues which I'll get to in a minute. And I also ran for the first time my Mardave Carbon hot rod, which performed flawlessly. I really like running the hot rods. There's such a, not an easy car to drive, but they're so much more controllable and predictable than what the Mini can be. The Minis can be uber twitchy, and the hot rods, that extra 1.5 inches in length, just, I ran both categories, so it was a really busy day for me, between putting additive on one, wiping it off, and not getting ready quite in time to swap tyres around and things like that. So there's lots of things I'd have done differently if I was just concentrating on running one category, but because it's so cheap to run 2 with the Neo RC series, why not fill your boots? It's all track time, so I did. Anyway, we're going to focus on the Mini. We all like quick tips about any setup changes or anything like that we did. Not really any change. Well, that's not necessarily strictly true. Let's take the cover off. So I have switched from Contact 37s to running Mardave's own Pro Grip Meds, and I gotta admit, I kind of like them. But if I had to run Contact 37s or 35s, I probably would. But I had the opportunity of running these, and I do like them. I've got to admit, they felt as though they had a good level of consistent grip throughout the day. Although I will say that towards the end, like Q4 and certainly the finals, if I'd have had more time on my hands, I would have definitely been rotating a set of rear tyres in between the races. But as it stands, I didn't have time to worry about that, so I just ran it as is. Still running Contact 50s on the front for practice, Q1 and Q2. I ran a thin bead of sauce on just the inside edge of the tyre there for both sides, obviously, and that seemed to work well. But going beyond Q2, there was so much grip that I didn't use sauce at the front end at all. Q1, Q1 went all right. Q1's always a bit remembering where the track is, seeing what the other drivers are doing around you, because there's a good variation on display of driver ability. So you were doing well if you got a clean run and didn't get tagged, or do the tagging yourself. I was certainly not innocent to that. Q2 was a really good solid drive. I managed to get 30 laps in, which, although that's not excessive, and I can definitely do 31, maybe 32, definitely 31, with how busy the track was with running, and again with the difference of abilities and cars going everywhere, I think that's a solid performance on the day. And you've got to deal with what there is on the day, so yeah. So a solid Q2. Q3, Q4 were both DNFs, and they resulted in an awful lot of flapping, because I ended up rebuilding the front end twice, because I just thought there was something wrong with the front end. The car all of a sudden just wouldn't steer. There was no, and I couldn't find a fault at the front end either. And it turned until it turns out the steering servo was actually loose. So the 2 little grub screws that I had holding the servo mount towers in, it just worked them way loose. I know somewhere there's a video about planning and preparation and checking your car over. I'm going to go back to the excuse that I was running 2 cars. I didn't have time. Anyway, thank you, Howard. couple of longer screws went in, solved the issue straight away. Or did it? Did that create another issue? Quickly about other setup, I was still running my Core 21. I was now running a 17 tooth pinion because I felt as though it needed the extra legs. Probably didn't, in all honesty. I may go back to a 16. So a 1748 pinion, probably a bit tall really for it. Other than that, love my minis. Love me mini racing. Right, shut up. Let's get into the actual race. That's why you're here.
Please do remember that all material is meant to be clean.
So there's mate. I've lined up 4th on the grid. Some good racers are around me, especially just in front of me. And give him a quick shout out. Young Alfie Lee, only 8 years old in that pink and green car there.
Good luck.
Yes, thank you Chuckle Brothers. And look at that, I just let everybody go up the inside of me. Oh, sketchy, but not really taking or hitting anybody there. Managing to hit the sides. Now it was at this point I realised the car was just pulling to the left, so in me retightening the servo, I haven't checked the steering arm lengths, and when I pulled the body off and the car off at the end of this race, I realised that the steering arms were just automatically a bit squiffy, so it was permanently pulling to the left. Easily corrected in pits, but in the heat of a race I couldn't quite start faffing around with my controller. I'm just not good enough to start doing on the fly tweaks of my controller to try to stabilise it. So a solid couple of laps there where I've just quietly got on with just driving the car. I don't know if you can notice though, the back end still wants to step out a little bit, and as I say, I think that's more due to the fact that these tyres now are done, you know, a good 40 minutes worth of driving, and I think with hindsight I definitely should have put some more tyres on. Now that was me capitalising on some other people's mistakes, and I think that's just put me through into either second or first place. I think that pink car's in the lead that you keep catching glimpses of, and young Alfie Lee's desperately now trying to chase me back down. Drove really well. Now that
was my fault,
was
sorry
all
guys.
And I definitely got shouted at for that.
Sorry.
Just wait to be marshalled there. Now that put me back down in 4th, I think. And young Alfie was heading the wrong way on the track and I hit him again. Sorry buddy. Desperately trying not to crash into people, and I'm trying to crash it, and I end up crashing into them. It was a really good day, you know guys. Anybody that's in any doubt of coming and booking on for this series, it were a right giggle. Nobody was taking it uber seriously. Aaron! Oh, God! Now I'm being taken out by a marshal. Thanks, Aaron. And I'm sure I helped fix your car earlier. I think that orange car in the corner you keep getting glimpses of there, that's a retiree. Can tuck there, just nice line through that chicane, Bren, even if I do say so myself, with a not quite steering well car. Because the car were pulling to the left, it was dead easy to get around left-hand bends though. Oh, young Alfie with a bit of an issue there, so that is me definitely in first place now, would you believe?
The record at 4 minutes is
But that pink car is
3,
quick.
5, 6, 2.
No, it's not. It has me in second place, sorry. I had to just check then. So that's me, plenty of space, no real pressure now. If I can bring second place home, that's a good solid foundation for the next race. Oh, and that was just me. Ooh, that pink car crashed there. That's me. I think that's me taking the lead.
After 5 minutes, the order is still 1, 4, 3, and 5.
Young Alfie. Oh. The Neo hire car's back. Clearly he's had a bit of a snafu and it's been back to the mechanic.
So with just under 30 seconds to go, the top 3 are very spread out.
Steadily following young Alfie Lee there. He's a good consistent driver, you know, good lines. And just to prove that you don't need 100 to 200 and 300 pounds worth of controller, he's doing all this still using the e-tronics one that comes with the kit. So anybody that says you can't be quick with standard stuff, I beg to differ. No, I did. Phil was ahead of me. He was a lap on me, so he was 2 laps on me when I went back past him, so I managed to get a lap back on him. But yeah, Phil did 36 laps, I did 35, and young Alfie did 34, and everybody else wasn't really in the hunt. Julian there, that's not the best advertisement, you know, for the Neo hire car. But anyway, let's see how we get on now in round 2. So it's a reverse order grid for round 2 of the final, the Mini B final. So Julian was on pole, Jack was in second place, Ian was in third, Alfie Lee 4th, I started 5th, and Phil started 6th. And a well spread out, if you can see, the field is well spread out to start, and that's to try to compensate the fact that Phil, myself or Alfie might have a much faster motor than everybody else, giving us the edge over in the first race. So by the time you get to the first corner, if we all started on the same straight, it could just be carnage at the first corner. I mean, it's usually carnage anyway, but the idea is to try to eliminate that sort of carnage, and I love this reverse spread. I really think it makes it interesting because you've really got to battle your way through the field. Anyway, enough random rubbish. Let's pull up the video to this and let's get that American guy to say that we're going racing on the sound of the tone. We set off and I hit the wall straight away. What is that, Brendan? Because I've corrected my steering now, so stop grumbling. Phil is on me quite quickly and wide through that corner. A lot of pink going on the track today. Phil had a bit of a snafu there, which gave me a little bit of a breathing space. And all I thought now was, don't crash, head down, and hopefully everybody will make some mistakes that I can capitalise on, like the hire car being upside down and the orange car being in the wall. So suddenly I'm in second place behind young Alfie Lee, who's in first. All within space of 3 or 4 corners, and I tried to attack a marshal there. And we're sort of off to... Oh, what was that? Come on, Marshall. Fast footwork there from young Dean. Now you've got to bear in mind, I'm feeling under pressure because I'd like to do well, but behind me there's an awful lot of heckling going on, which is never the best when you're definitely trying to concentrate. There's a lot of this RC car racing which you need to be like a Zen master and block out everybody. Now Alfie's had a bit of a problem there. Good marshalling there from Josh, and I think that's me in the lead. Yippee! There's Phil, he's there in the background. I think I've only got about a 4 or 5 second lead. Now there was a bit of me now that I thought, well, do you push? Do you ease off a bit? Try to just make sure you don't crash. But I didn't feel as though I couldn't not push a little bit because, again, Phil is flying in the pink car. Now I think we've lost one car. I think the orange car's retired. So again, I'm having, apart from running wide a little bit there, I don't know why we're doing that. Oh, higher car's back. So far so good, we're doing alright. Steady lead. Gap's reasonably consistent. Just don't make any mistakes. I know you should just race your own race, but at this point I was thinking, ooh, fridge magnet. And then I'm coming up to traffic and I'm thinking, please let me go. I'm lapping you. Oh, that were close. But second time I've lapped you, get out of the way. But in fairness, they were in their own little battle, so didn't really see me. Oh, what was that? That's cost me a couple of seconds. That's definitely cost me a couple of seconds there. See, the pink car's not far away now. Julian is a gentleman here and gets right out the road for me, which I was very appreciative, buddy, thank you. Or he does when I catch him anyway. See that pink car just sneaking closer and closer. Thanks, Julian.
Thanks, mate.
Gentleman amongst scholars there, young man.
30 seconds to go, guys. 30 seconds.
See, he's almost on me. Keep it together, Brendan. I'm gaining on back markers. I think there's about 30 seconds left. Feeling the pressure. So when all's said and done, I ended up with second place in the B final, which, to be perfectly honest, again, I'm the bridesmaid, aren't I? Which I guess means I've got to go and find a drunken best man to drown my sorrows with. Anyway, overall, the Mini, good. Can't wait for the next one. Phil, if you're racing the next one, I hope you are. I'm coming for you, buddy. And I bet you had a Satan in. You know, I had a Core 21, you know. Apparently it's a slower motor. Doodle pip, everybody. Thank you as always for watching. Stay tuned. There's another video coming where I sing the praises of my hot hatch.